In this episode, we will install Fail2ban to each of our WordPress servers. Then we will have Fail2ban transmit log information over to Elasticsearch. Specifically, we want Fail2ban to report to Elasticsearch any banned IP address and which jail they were associated with. In the future, I plan to create a more extensive series on Fail2ban, but in this video, I will just demonstrate the functionality most relevant to our context. At a high level, I would describe Fail2ban as a service that reads the log files on your servers, and then it determines which IP addresses in those log files seem to be performing activities that we deem suspicious. Any IP address performing undesired activities are then banned temporarily or permanently. Any IP address that has been banned will be sent over to Elasticsearch. So I think the integration process for integrating Fail2ban to Elasticsearch is going to be similar to our process for integrating Clam antivirus with Elasticsearch, or similar to our process with integrating WordPress plugins with Elasticsearch. So at a high level, the process will be, first thing we need to do is take the Fail2ban information and just format it into a JSON object. And then we're going to go to Elasticsearch, define an index with the proper mapping to receive the JSON object that's coming from Fail2ban. Once all that information is in Elasticsearch, we will develop a data view, or we'll create a Kibana data view on top of that index. And then we will create dashboards on top of the data view. So it's going to be pretty straightforward. And anything we do here, it really doesn't depend on the only steps this step depends on would be, we just need Elasticsearch up and running. Other than that, this step can pretty much be done on its own, which could apply to any other Elastic instance or any other Linux setup. So let's go ahead and start with this. What we're going to try to do is we're trying to, let's see. We also want to ban an IP address for 5 minutes if they fail 10 times within 5 minutes of hitting this URL. So if someone tries to log in more than 10 times, we're going to ban them for 5 minutes. Okay, so that's all we're trying to do. So to get started, we basically just need to install Fail2ban on each of the WordPress servers. So this is a terminal window to one of the WordPress servers. We'll just go ahead and update. All right, so we'll run this on both machines. Okay, it looks like everything is installed. So to get Fail2ban up and working, we will go to cd etc Fail2ban. And first thing we need to do is make a copy of this jail.conf and rename it to jail.local. Jail.conf to jail.local. And this is because when we run Fail2ban, it's really this configuration file that Fail2ban will read instead of the jail.conf. So let's do the same thing here. Oh, wrong directory. Okay, so let's open up jail.local. So in this file, let's quickly go over it. There are a lot of configurations that you can pretty much leave as default to start off, at least for demonstration purposes. I think in my more extensive Fail2ban video, I'll explain exactly what each of these options mean, but I think you can see some of these are pretty self-explanatory. Okay, these are, I assume, would be the default values, for example. But what's really interesting is if you scroll all the way down, towards the bottom, there are these things called jails. So when you ban an IP address, they can be associated with certain jails, and each of these jails basically reflect different types of behaviors or functionality that you disapprove of. Okay, so there's an SSHD jail. So if there are IP addresses that match patterns that describe undesired SSH behaviors, then you can ban that IP address against this jail. So if we scroll down, there's a lot of different jails here. And if you want to know what the rules are for these jails, you can basically just go into this folder here, filter D. In fact, let me just X out of here for a moment. So in this directory here, there's this filter.d directory. These are the rules for every single one of the jails. So if I open up jail.local again, and let's just scroll down a bit more. So as an example, there is a jail called Apache No Home. If you want to know what that rule is, just go into the filter.d, look for Apache nohome.conf. That would be this one. These are the rules that define this Apache No Home jail. Okay, so if a particular user is trying to access these ports, and we're going to read from these log files, and if they failed, or if they match this rule, if they match this rule twice, then they will be banned. Okay, and they'll be banned according to some of these configurations here. Okay, so that's basically how these jails work, and you can see that there's quite a few number of jails. And the jail we want to do is we want to make one ourselves. So I'm going to go all the way to the bottom, and I have one right here. We have, this is the jail definition, but maybe I'll take this first. I'm going to paste it in here. All right, so what this is saying is if an IP address in one of the Apache logs satisfies the jail rules that we define in here, which we will do shortly, then we will, first of all, we're going to look as far back as 300 seconds. And if that IP address appears 10 times within the last 300 seconds, then we will ban them for 300 seconds. And the log files we care about are the ones that are found in this directory here. Okay, so now the question is, what are the jail rules? So then the jail rules, we will have to define them. Filters.d, I'll call it WordPress login.conf. So remember, this has to match exactly this name. So this has to be this file name ending in a .conf. We'll open it up, and the rules that we're going to define for this jail are basically this. Copy, and I'm going to paste it in here. So what this is saying is, if the file var, so let's take a look at this. Var log Apache access.log, and I'll scroll all the way down. So you can see that they all have these things like IP address, timestamp, and then some description of what file is being accessed. I'm going to close this for a moment. So when we look through this file, basically we're seeing anytime the WP login has been hit, let's see how many times, has been hit 10 times within the last 300 seconds, then we will ban them. So if this rule fires 10 times within the last 300 seconds, or this rule fires 10 times within the last 300 seconds, then this will be considered true. And if it's true, then we ban them for 300 seconds. So that's how these jails work. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other server. This one over here. WordPress login.conf. Let's paste, oh, not this. Copy this, let's paste it in here. Go up, vi jail.local. Those are the jail details that we will paste into here. All right, and now just go systemctl enable Fail2ban, systemctl start Fail2ban. And let's do the same on this machine over here. Okay, let's check the status. This looks good. Okay, this looks good as well. All right, and you can always check the jail status by doing Fail2ban client status, and let's look at the WordPress login jail. So you can see that this jail is reading from these two log files, and currently it hasn't banned any IP addresses. Now we can test to see if Fail2ban will automatically ban someone or ban an IP address if it hits the login page more than 10 times. And I am going over to my cell phone or my smartphone, which is on using cellular data. So that phone basically is going to have a different IP address than the IP address that I'm filming this video from. So I'm going to try to hit the login screen, which is basically this URL. I'm going to try to come to this wp-login.php and try to ping this 10 times. All right, so let me do that and then I will resume recording. All right, I just tried to hit this URL 10 times from my cell phone, and now my cell phone is just showing connection or cannot make connection or connection timed out because Fail2ban seems to automatically be banning the IP address of my phone. So if I do this again, you can see now that this is the IP address of my phone and it's been banned. And after 5 minutes, it will probably automatically unlist. All right, so that's how Fail2ban works. So we're on to the next step, which is we want to transmit this information over to Elasticsearch. So before we send this information over to Elasticsearch, we need to decide what information we want to send exactly, and then define the index for that information. If I create this little script here called, oh, we don't have it here, but I believe on my Elastic server in here, and we go to Fail2ban, I have these two files that we would find useful. In fact, there's the WordPress login.conf in here, which we already made. So I'll just send these two files over. In fact, I'll just send this one first to web1.evermite.net. Fail2ban. Okay, and I'm just going to open this file up, and we will just manually create this on this first server, like this. So these are the connection details to our Elastic Stack. And if you look at the send.sh, all it will do is basically, first of all, we have to state the jail that we're interested in looking at. So WordPress-login would be the one in our case. And from there, oh, this seems incorrect. Maybe I have a mistake here. Okay, this was left over from a test. I am going to delete this because we want the Fail2ban jail that's passed in as the argument. Okay, so once we have that, basically it looks like the only fields we want is timestamp, hostname, IP list, file list, status, and jail. So we want an index that have these fields. And just like our other videos, I already have the mapping for that. It's under the ES directory, scripts, mappings, and if we look at Fail2ban, this is the mapping we want. So I can either use the scripts.sh or I could create it with this mapping file. As you can see, it's done here with these few lines, or I can just go to Kibana DevTools to do that. In fact, let me log into Kibana, and then I will go to DevTools, and let's create that index. Put Fail2ban. We'll make the index first, and then we will define the mapping like this. Now that that is made, you can go to the stack management, open it up, and let's go to the index management. And now we should see there's an index here called Fail2ban, which means Elasticsearch is ready to receive this payload here. Okay, so let's take a look at the jail status again. Okay, my IP address is still there. So I believe if I do send.sh, oh, jail name is required, WordPress login. Okay, and let's see what we get in here. Oh, let me go back here. Get Fail2ban _ search. All right, there we go. So we see this is one of the IP address within this JSON array that's been banned. We're receiving Fail2ban is reading from these log files here, and here's a more verbose version of the same message. So let's get things onto the second WordPress server as well. So coming back over here, go to Fail2ban, and let's SCP send.sh over to like that. All right, and let's get these connection details onto the second server. Okay, like that. And let's see if, let's just go ahead. Oh, before we do that, I have to fix this variable. Okay, so I will commit the fix to production or to the GitHub right after this video, but this line shouldn't be there. And now we go ahead and say send.sh. The jail that we want to send over is WordPress login. And let's do a search here. And you can see for this, for the second host, WP2, there are no banned IP addresses. Let's take a look at the first server again. Fail2ban client status WordPress login. Okay, so you can see at this point, my cell phone's IP address has been removed because it's exceeded 5 seconds already. I'm just going to take a look at my phone. I'm pressing reload on my phone and I can see the web page again. But if I try to load this 10 times, in fact, let me just send this log over as well. And you can see here, if I do a search, this host at this time does not have any banned IP address. I'm just going to reload my phone 10 times. Just give it a moment. Reload, reload on my phone, reload on my phone, reload. Okay, it looks like my phone has been banned. Let's do a send again. Do a search again. And now you can see on this host, my IP address has been banned again at this time. All right, so at this point, let's create a data visualization for this information. And just like the video on Clam antivirus and WordPress, outdated WordPress plugins, first thing we need to do is create a data view, because the dashboards requires a data view to read from. So I'll just create a data view, Fail2ban. We'll just call it Fail2ban, and it can map to Fail2ban. Just this one index, so we don't need the asterisk, which is, the asterisk is a wildcard for multiple indices, but we only plan to read from that one index. Select the timestamp. And now that this data view is in place, we should be able to go to the Discover tab. And in here, we can actually search Fail2ban through here. Okay, so this is good. All 4 logs are here. And we can start to move on and make our dashboard. So let's continue adding to this particular dashboard. All right, there's nothing here because it's been quite a few hours since I last recorded, but if we look as far back as 15 hours, we get our data back. Now let's create a new visualization, Fail2ban, and let's do a table. Right, we can choose table here. And for the row, I think, let's see. I want to group by or aggregate by host name and the jail. So host name and the jail together, because the jail name is repeated across 2 servers. So I'm going to have to aggregate by both these dimensions. And with that, let's close this and let's see what we want to plot into our table. The last value, and I think we want the list of banned IP addresses so we can see that. And the other field we want to see is maybe the timestamp of when this ban last occurred. Oops. Timestamp. And let's sort things this way. There we go. That's a bit easier to see. And let's rename these columns. Timestamp, like that. And for the IP list, let's just simplify it to IP list like this. And for this one, let's rename it as this. Hostname jail. I'll do that. And the one thing I really never liked is the grouping. Anything exceeding 5 rows gets thrown into others. I don't find that very useful, so I'm going to disable that, and I will turn on pagination over here. Save and return, and let's call this Fail2ban logs. Fail2ban logs. Okay. And let's save this. All right, and just like our earlier videos, for some of you, if you're just using this once and you don't plan to share it, you're pretty much done. You've configured your visualizations and you can leave it as is. But for people who want to export all this and have these dashboards and data view configurations version controlled with Git so that you can share it with your other colleagues, or so that you can make it part of your provisioning, things like with Terraform and with Ansible to quickly provision and spin up new infrastructure, you may want to Git version control the JSON representation of these dashboards as well as the data views. So with that said, let's continue with that extra step. So I'm going to go over to Stack Management. Let's go to Data Views. So I can either grab the data view ID from here or use the shell script that I showed in previous videos. I'll just grab it from here because it's easy. I'm going to get this ID, copy this. Let's go to our Elasticsearch server, which is this one here. Go to ES scripts, and in here, let's do a saved or data view get, data view get.sh. Let's paste this in here. Let's pass it through the JQ filter just so we can see things formatted nicely. Yeah, so you can see this is the schema of our data view. So let's go ahead and save this. Data views, and we call this fail2ban.json. Okay, and let's also save our dashboard, which is this ID. Okay, and let's what was the other command? Saved objects, export this ID, and the type is dashboard. Okay, that looks correct. And let's just output that to dashboards, the WordPress server's dashboard. So this means that if I were to delete this dashboard, and if I were to delete this data view, I should be able to re-import it by going to the setup script here. And let's see, there's CP data views to, I'll just say test.sh. And within test.sh, we only need in fact, we're going to need the clam scans and the WP plugins just because our dashboard already needs to use these. Okay, so I just don't need the heartbeat one. Actually, I don't need These data views already exist, so I don't need to re-import them. I only need to import this one. And for dashboards, yes, I just import this one dashboard. So let's import this. Let's import this. And if I hit refresh here, we should get our Fail2ban back. And if I hit refresh here, we get this back. All right, so that's pretty much the how we can integrate Fail2ban with Elasticsearch. Let's see if there's anything else. I would say that with, let's say from here, what was I going to say over here? All right, this send.sh command, I'll leave it to you. So not just that, but let's say, and the jail name, WordPress login. I'll leave it to you to put something like this into your cron tab, and this will just scan things, this will scan your Fail2ban periodically and submit things to Elasticsearch. You can also replace WordPress login with any additional jails that you're interested in. Okay, so in terms of what are all the other jails, let me just find the command for a moment. So if you type Fail2ban client status, you can see that there's only 2 active jails right now, but if you enable a few more of these jails will exist, and then you can do send.sh -jail name, let's say SHD or any other jail name, and it'll send that information over to Elasticsearch. So you can configure your cron tab schedule to run periodically to send jail-specific information over to Elasticsearch.